with us today is a leader, Moshe Feiglin, who very correctively shows the target and corrects the world with Hashem's word. It's a beautiful morning. So I can see you better, and you'll see me, and we'll see each other's eyes. On Friday is at this hour. I wasn't supposed to be here. I was supposed to be his private of pleasure every week on his bike, and she couldn't say no to Nadia. Truly, what the women in green do is so important. And you understood the point. You understood the point that is sovereignty. And you're speaking about sovereignty and explain all issues about sovereignty. And I see a newsletter about sovereignty, and that's the answer. That's the answer that we speak about all the time. And I spoke when I used to be in the Knesset, and when we'll, God willing, come back to it, to the Knesset and to the government, God willing, and to leadership of the country. This is the point. This is to continue the Torah. This is the thing that is required inside the Mishkan. We created a nation, and now the fight is to see what is going to be inside of it. When we don't light the light, it becomes not important. Without understanding the target that we need a nation, its legitimacy becomes null and void, or with a question mark, and becomes broken down. We are speaking now about working together, the same target, and this is why I'm here in this morning. I can't forget and start without saying what happened yesterday in Rami Levi. Here, it happens all the time in here, but this time it was in Yad Binyamin. I was in Chug Bayit in Modi'in. We're running all the time every evening. There's a lot of demand to hear our Zahut party, and only when I came home late at night I opened the internet and I heard on the way something in Modi'in, again, two kids age 14 took knives and stabbed, and they talked about a few injured, and I didn't want to think that it was difficult or terminal, and we all hoped, and I forget about it. I got home, and very late I got home, and I saw the murdered, the pictures of the murdered, and this particular person, I don't remember his name, Tuvia. God will avenge his blood. I'm not worried about him, and I saw the face of his young wife, the mother of a very small baby, 4 months old. And immediately came to me the saying of the commander of IDF that he doesn't want to see an IDF soldier, shooting on a young terrorist. And I will tell you that this 14-year-old with the scissors or something, you should kill him before he did what he did. Somebody who comes to kill you, you have to kill him first. This particular saying in the Torah is the right thing to be done. This is the moral thing to do. This is the right thing to do. The fact that a Jew is murdered, and we are not stepping up, and to destroy them and wake up to destroy our enemies And as a result, we see this picture from yesterday that doesn't leave me alone. Not his face, but her face. Is not moral. This is the immorality. It might be a Christian moral to give your other cheek and to give the other cheek. It's not a Jewish moral. It's not morality in Judaism. It's not moral to, when the army of Israel and the leadership forget this idea of, kill first before being killed. You can't win wars like that. It doesn't matter how long we're strong, how much sophisticated we are, and all the amazing rockets. The 13-year-old with the Caesars will be winning. And now to our issue. They ask us, well, what's the solution, my solution? What would you do? And so the immediate solution, the Band-Aid, the immediate one is to kill a person, is the saying, is whoever comes towards you. And the base one is having sovereignty. I'll tell you a story. We started the party of Zehut, and people are coming in, and we have Friday events, and we're getting people that are starting to get in. And we were looking for a slogan for the shirts, for the people that were giving the materials everywhere. And I said, so the slogan should be, stop the occupation. Stop the occupation. Yes, yes, stop the occupation. And we and printed, shirts. And I have a few shirts in my stop the occupation. And the activists, they're very nice. They put it on, stop the occupation. And I can tell you that in Haifa and Tel Aviv it worked well. But in Jerusalem, when the people worked near Machane, the market, they were beaten up. So we understood that you can't be so sophisticated, and we tried to get to the eye level type of slogans. But this is the answer. Stop the occupation. This is the answer. Eretz Israel is ours. It's all ours until the last grain. There's no need for clapping. But when the official person who's controlling this country is the army commander here, there is occupation, and we're in an occupation state. And we have to finish this. End this. Not the way that the left... the problem is the occupation. Identifying the problem is true with the left. But the problem is the occupation. The 12-year-old or the 14-year-old that wakes up in the morning in a state that he is occupied to... and that the colonialist, colonial power admits that he's temporary in this place, that he's an occupier in this place, that this is his country and not our country, the Jews. So what do you want? Can you explain that? Beyond the immediate problem that we have to be determined, preventive. We're not going to do this or that. We're not supposed to be like a big, powerful hero. But we know exactly what we need to do in order for every one of us, any neighbor in our villages will fear what he knows who is the child who can potentially do that. He won't have a house or a village or work or anything or permits. This has to be done. But this is not going to solve the root problem. It's the occupation. After you do the immediate measures, you have to finish the swamp where the mosquitoes grew up, and to finish and dry it is to end occupation. And the left was quiet. The occupation is from, but the left is saying to just run away from Eretz Israel. Obviously, is all ours, and the answer is to end occupation by we'll do what we never did on the 7th day of the 6-day war. We're fighting now, Zehut, identity, the party, and the Shin Be'arok, and everybody who's here. We are now fighting the fight of the 7th day. The 7th day war is the sovereignty war. What we have to do, what we must do, is to have sovereignty, Israeli sovereignty, full sovereignty, in all the areas of Eretz Israel that Hashem, in big miracles, gave us in 1967 in this miracle war on a plate of dedication of our IDF soldiers. All these areas have to be real part of Eretz Israel. Gaza, like Jaffa, Ramle, like Ramallah. Everything under Israeli sovereignty. To destroy immediately every segment of sovereignty or military sovereignty of the Hamas or a terror group of the PA, or sovereignty of or the Waqf with no weapons, or any kind of remnants. Only the police of Israel and the IDF forces, and only the flag of Israel from the sea to the Jordan River. This is what we need to do. Of course, immediately you're asked, what are you going to do with the Arabs? The answer is, there's no problem with the Arabs. First, according to the demography, the real demography, the ones that Dr. Yoram Ettinger and the Israeli-American demographers, they're not led by ideology, by the other demographies, that we should be today a minority in Israel inside the Green Line, like Professor De La Pergola and Amnon Sofer and others. And according to the what leads in demography right now, within 10 to 15 years, there's going to be a majority, God willing, in Eretz Israel from the sea to the Jordan River of 80%. And this demography show, like coming from foreign countries, of 500,000 Jews. It might be more in our seeing, but I don't think that it takes away to deal with what we're going to do with the Arabs in the area. So thank God, most of them wants to leave. According to reviews that there's between 80% in Gaza, more than 60% in Judea and Samaria that would like to leave, and also doing it in practice. In Judea and Samaria, in Judea and Samaria, they left more than 10,000 Arab citizens, or not citizens, but in Gaza it's difficult. It's more difficult. They go through boats, but they want to live, and it's obvious that they want to leave. It's also clear in this immigration there is a need for it. There's also a place to go. The question is, who is going to build in Berlin or Toronto the skyscrapers? But the question is whether it's going to be somebody who comes from Sudan, a refugee from Sudan, that he built some sort of a mud house in Sahara, or an Arab from Judea and Samaria that built Israeli. So there's a question, and the state of Israel has all the abilities to, or that whoever is going to be at the end of the line is going to be the refugee from Eretz Israel. Has all the abilities to make it happen in matching the places for those Arabs, and also with giving a financial something that would increase their motivation for it, and also by giving a personal money to each person that want to leave. And I spoke with a few countries about this, and whoever comes with money is always going to be in the head of the line for getting jobs and everything. And they need this immigration because the whole entire world, and especially in Europe and states like that, are not having any more kids, and in order to continue to their progress, they have to have a certain amount of immigration to it. So the question is, where are we going to have the money? Where are we going to have all this money to deal with it? The answer is that we are for the solution of two states for a Palestinian state. We paid and we continue paying much more than this solution that I'm speaking about. The two-state plan is the shaking of Rabin and Yasser Arafat, God blot his name, and Netanyahu and Arafat. It was not even less worse than their shaking. The right and the left together is to be blamed. This shaking hands of the leaders of Israel with the terror organization, taking away all the Jews away for the PLO, taking away all the Jews from Israel. This shaking hands cost us more than $1 trillion shekels. Why so much? Because we have to have a security guard at Rami Levy. We have security guards in each one of the kindergarten. We have security guards everywhere and train stations. Before Oslo, we didn't need that. So we have 100,000 security people that we pay for them for 20 years now. Money. We have to pay for the Hamas in Gaza something like 80 million shekels every month in Brinks trucks that go to Gaza to give them free electricity, free water, so they could they wait till they shoot on us, so they'll wait. This is protection money in a national venue. It costs a lot of money to maintain. We have to have barriers. We have to have betonados, all those, cement barriers. There's less income from tourism, more expenses on, missiles, like Chetz missiles, arrow missiles. You could see all the calculation in our websites that was a few years, not even one lefty found any mistakes on our calculations, more than the $1 trillion shekels. Just give you an understanding, $1 trillion shekels is 600 shekels to each fund. It's a house for free, not a small flat. It's one house for each person in Israel. This was expenditure on the end occupation by the left. We continue doing this. It's not in American measures. It's $1 trillion shekels is something that is 10.5% of our budget every year. It's more than the defense budget, just to give you an idea. It's more than the education budget. Much more. So when you ask me where the money is going to come, so it's a small portion of the money that we already spending on the end occupation of their type. If we want to really end the occupation and bring security and bring peace, we have to think about this option that I brought, that first option, that with it we can we can waive the problem with 50% success. Another fact is that Hashem is doing us a miracle, and the women, any woman, the average Israeli woman, not just the settler and the religious one, but also the Tel Avivian Israeli woman is the only one in the whole entire world, in the West and in the East, that gives birth more than her mother and her grandmother. The only one. Let's say more than her mother. Meanwhile, the Arab woman in the whole entire world, but especially in Judea and Samaria, is giving birth less. It's less than even inside Israel. It's a drop from 7 kids to 3 average within 10 to 15 years. And this particular trend is going forward and on. So this creating immigration one and doing more promoting immigration, and also it could bring less population in Judea and Samaria of Arabs within 10 to 15 years by 50%. What will happen with the rest of them? Well, we'll give them 2 other options. One is, of course, if you're not a terrorist or something like that, you could stay in your current, like a residence, a permanent resident, as you are now, but you're dedicated and say that you sign up on a faithful declaration as a state that is a Jewish state, and you acknowledge that, and you not show your faithfulness to another state or another cause. And the third option, if you want to become like the Druze, be in the army and connect your faith with us, and there'll be a small group that I want to be part of the destination or the faith of Israel. As they say, you can serve in the army and faithful-based type of a declaration. This would enable those Arabs to get citizenship, as we have with the Druze. This is the 3 options. Now what about those that want to fight? And then he's already dispelled with it's like a war. The great advantage, it's a very important what you asked, Judith, but it's good that you centralized me. The big advantage of ending the occupation is that when you're not anymore an occupation, a land of others, and you have declared sovereignty, whoever is fighting with you is not a terrorist, is not on a wave of terror acts. You're not in this shadowy place between war and peace. You're in war, like any war. And in war, you don't stop them to give them, like, you kill the other soldiers of the other side. This reality that we are lost, the feeling of control and the possession of this country. The new kids feel that you're like guests in our own country, and we deal with the Arabs like they are some sort of, the Arabs are the main people and they're the controllers of this country and they belong to this country, and we're from the UN and our IDF is from the UN, and we have to create until they let us to walk without running after us. So this is the situation right now. This is something that leads to whoever's fighting against you we're not fighting against us. We just have this against pair of scissors or against other things. The only value that we have in this situation is behind us we could lean on is the ability to self-defense. Things went to this level that even shooting towards the rocket launcher we can't do. Did you hear lately that Prime Minister or a foreign minister or somebody, an ambassador in the UN or somebody of the State of Israel stating the following sentence, the trivial sentence that whoever is a leader all over the country will say always. This is our country. Anybody can remember when was the last time? I promised you that all of you remember what they always say. Israel has a right to defend itself. And we always hear that. So we're not here because it's ours, but we're not here in order to get some sort of a destination or some sort of a thing in the future, but we're here in order to survive.
And you know what? It seems to me that each one of you have a better place to be than here just to survive.
So, and each one of us, you have something better to survive here. I see that you have foreign passports, so most of you? No? You don't? Ah. The last value that the state of Israel is hiding behind us to make sense of staying is our right to survive. It's not working for us. I tell you, Yehudit, when the state of Israel will stand behind her justice points, we will go against our enemies. We're not going to wait for the scissors of the kid, the 13-year-old kid. This is the answer for sovereignty. And sadly, we're not going to hear from anybody else in the political arena. And I invite you all to follow after our activities of the Zehut Party in order to make this real. And I'll take some questions from people. Yochi asked a question. Why is there a new party in Israel, Zehut, identity? We won. I'm being sarcastic a little bit, so you have to understand it's not something against you, but I'm trying to accentuate this point. You're right. The right won the elections. Why bother? Not only that the right was the winner, we accepted the government that is amazing. I was a member of the coalition of a right wing, and we couldn't function. We had Yair Lapid, and there was Tzipi Livni, and we couldn't do anything. And we had the oppositions from the left. They did horrible things. I can tell you more privately. We got in this election the dream government. You can dream about 30 mandates to the Likud, the Beit Yehudi, in the heart of in government, in education, the Minister of Justice, the head of all the law decisions, all the decision for laws and everything was given for Ayelet Shaked, MK Ayelet Shaked, Minister Ayelet Shaked, and the Education Ministry too. They're in the cabinet. The Vice Deputy Minister is also from somebody from ours. It's the dream government. Kachlon is not bothering us, and Lapid is not bothering us. The religious people are not bothering. It's the dream government. And why bother? We build everywhere in Judea and Samaria. We're building in Jerusalem. Sovereignty in Temple Mount. There's no murders every 2 hours in average. I'm being about 2 and 33 minutes. There's a murder happening. We've solved the issue with Iran. Everything is great. There's not going to be a bomb. No worry. The Americans are taking care of us. Should I continue? Why bother? Why disturb this? Why separate forces here? Listen, everybody. We are understood, and I hinted to us at the start of my talk 20 years ago when we blocked all the roads and we created Zohar Tenu, and we did all we needed to do to stop Oslo, and we got the right after a year, and we got Netanyahu. And he hugged Yasser Arafat also, and we understood then that the problem is not in the left or right line. It's in the identity, Jewish country or the country of all its citizens. Because all this Oslo was emanating from that somebody wanted to run away from our Jewish identity. And they admitted it. Dorit Avignon, that they quarreled about it. She says then, for me, Oslo is to forget about being a Jewish. And how whoever created Oslo, Dr. Aaron Pundak, God rest his soul, he says Oslo wasn't about peace. It was about Israelization of Israel and taking away its Judaism. If it's not about left and right, and it's about Judaism, if it's Judaism or a country with that or based on all citizens, there we can find the solution too. We're being sucked into some sort of a court that is not relevant. We win the election, but we lose the reality. We already won the elections in '77 as a right. If we're not going to create a new constitution outside of this zero-sum game, we're going to lose more. We have to understand this carefully. It's time to understand that point. In good, it says you're going to have 2 mandates and you're going to lead, but the politics is not going to be that. So I'm going to tell you something, 2 things. Rabbi Levinger tried it, God rest his soul. They created this settlement, and then he brought Oslo to us. Rabbi Levinger, okay, I will have to answer. Everything you said, Rabbi Levinger is I adopt, but he didn't bring Oslo. That's not true. Rabbi Levinger didn't bring Oslo. He didn't bring Oslo, and we are not going to have 2 mandates. We hopefully get more. I didn't come here to create voters. If you want to join. Keep on fearing and getting into the deep doo-doo, as they say. I understand that the message is not going to come from you, but you lost your hope. You lost the spark in your eyes. Don't argue with me. I am telling you, we'll go to the next question, but I'm saying to you that whoever until now didn't understand that the solution is not in the rights will not even understand. You don't teach old horses new tricks. There's a saying like that. So we can teach you new tricks, as I say. I understand that. I understand that. Whoever is ready and listening, I tell you, look at the reality. Always. As much as we win more for the right, we are losing more. Forget about Oslo. How did it was right or left to take us from, getting out from, the disengagement. Where were you? All the questions, more than 90% of the areas that were taken out, the disengagement were taken out by the right. And Netanyahu is very proud of the fact that he built the least amount during his time. Where is the mistake of Levinger? The reality right now is that you want to be closed up in left or right, you're welcome, but that's not where the solution is. The solution is in the question whether we are going to be successful in convincing the Israeli community to go back to his identity. And you have a good chance to do it, because 80% of the Israelis say we're first Jews, then Israelis. It has something in politics? No. There's religious parties, and there's left and right. That's it, but there's no identity as a Jew. Look at the left. It comes up, I came out into the Knesset 3.5 years ago, and with it was the same person my age, and as I was, never was in the Knesset, no political experience whatsoever. and almost became prime minister. If he had one more mandate to Lapid, and this time he could have been the prime minister. You know why? Because in the left they don't ask these kind of questions. Prime minister can be a prime minister. You changed also your strategy in the last minute, so I didn't change my strategy, I changed my tactics, not my strategy. When Netanyahu, the leader of the right party, shook the hand of Yasser Arafat, we understood, as I said before, it's not about left and right, and it should be identity. We have to create leadership that is faith-based, with a feeling that leads us to a Jewish country, but not a citizens-based country. The majority of Israelis wants a Jewish state, not citizen-based country. And if most of the people want, so the success is guaranteed. But the problem is that the head of Aaron Barak, the leader of the Supreme Court, says that this country is a citizens' country, and the Democratic Institute says the same thing, and the Academy and the Army IDF commander says this. It's a state based on citizen and not Jewish or Judaism. We want to give back a chance to the country. We have to create a leadership from this kind of a leadership. We wanted to find ways to reach leadership, and at some point we decided to use Likud, and that was right decision for the time. It was very difficult to make people like you to join the Likud, which is difficult now to convince people to get out of the Likud, or we also had that problem getting out of the Likud and creating identity. We had a lot of problems with the Likud bus. As long as it took us towards, we stayed in this particular vehicle. When we understood that this vehicle is lost and past the nearest station that we could go to our destination, we got off. Because we don't feel that we didn't change the Likud stopped serving us and start at one point to take us away from the target. And I won't get into what happened, but the truth is that we had to jump out and create a different vehicle and tool. We're going the same strategy and the same target. Go ahead. So the question of Jack was two things, main things. One is, who would believe that we'll find ourselves in a situation where the whole Middle East is emptied of its citizens, and we see how the Hashem is leading the reality into the picture that we always believed to it, and how we are going to get over the left and all the Supreme Court and the powerful lead that are waiting for us on the corner. And the answer is as follows. You're so true. That is amazing. I have to tell you that as a kid I always asked myself, from the Nile to we have 22 countries there. Well, I can't understand how it's gonna, the nation of Israel will sit in his promised land. I know that very soon there's nobody else there. Nobody's left. Hashem knows what he's doing, and things are amazing. And it's not less amazing that despite all the mistakes that and the awkward way that the leadership in Israel is using, the nation of Israel is flourishing. We have today the state that is strongest, the economy that is strongest, and the army that is strongest that we could just dream about. Thank God, thank God. If you think, come to Tel Aviv, to our offices in Tel Aviv, and you'll can't see the sky. There's so many towers like Manhattan. It's unbelievable, and each tower has different architectural design and roads and freeways and technology and economy. There's a lot to make it better, but compared to Europe and the United States, wow. So what's happening right now is that on one hand, Hashem is creating forces, international forces that are amazing, as is happening in the Middle East. And on the other hand, in all this process is that everything is breaking down. The state of Israel is strong and stronger than ever. And apparently we have to connect the plug into the socket. This is our opportunity, the great opportunity to make our purpose, our destination, to lead things, our processes, instead of running away from it, leading the reality instead of hitting ourselves in the rock, or if we were connected to our destiny, if we're not looking always to run away behind the leadership, the idea of self-defense. As you said, this is a big problem. What we're going to do against those powerful, Supreme Court and other left. The force that of this particular groups is from one thing, that there is no one against them, some sort of a leadership that gives an alternative, that shows a different way, a different path. The right went up in the first exchange in 1977. Until 1977, the left, Mapai party, held also the national agenda, and also with the positions of everything, all the positions and everything. So they gave all the good, yummy things for everybody that were in power. In 77, we had the change, and the right came up. But because the right never had an agenda, and in the time Netanyahu, had connection with Yasser Arafat, they didn't have a particular agenda, so it became a little bit more fair between the sides. The left kept the agenda because they always had an agenda, and the right accepted all the positions. And Begin left all the positions with left the important positions with the left. Even Netanyahu, also I'm talking about like the positions of vice, mayor and all this, whatever they were close to the pot. What you're talking about is the agenda jobs, and those were left with the with the left, and that's problematic. We're talking about a change, and of the agenda, that you will have an agenda, and no Supreme Court and no people that are in the news media will change it. I have time for 2 more questions. What do you think about Otzma? The question was why can't we connect with Otzma over Yeldad? Gentlemen, I might not have done my political lead, because that's not what I came to talk about, but about sovereignty, the general ideas, but I'll answer you really briefly. We're not fighting on, getting in or not. We're fighting on the leadership. We didn't take down our eyes from the big target. If we go to a fight between Marzel, Bibi, and Bennett, more or less, as all the questions that we have, it's not relevant. We're not there. Our ability to do a change is not. If let's assume Eli Yishai was in the Knesset, so he will pass. Let's assume he passed. It would be Marzel, Eli Yishai, and good people. Eli Yishai is a very nice person. He's my neighbor. I don't feel bad about it. But besides having the good show in town, maybe I will buy a TV to see Marzel going with the Zuabi. It would be a great show to open the Knesset channel. But real. But truly. There were also 4 mandates that came to the right, to Lieberman in the opposition. But this is what have happened. All my blood and future will come to pass the, with Eli Yishai or Marzel or somebody else. We're not in that corner. We're in different position all together. Because we took our selves from Jerusalem to Tel Aviv, and it's exciting there. And I came out a Chug Bayit in Modin, which is like an assembly. We were in a canyon in Modin, and I got into the car, and suddenly I noticed that I didn't even think about it, but none of the people didn't have a kippah. People attending his, they're all from Modin, young people, mainly. Some with ears, some with tattoos, some with whoever organized this particular meeting was the head of the center in Modin is a lady who's a doctor. Until the last, she used to work with the Labor Party actually. Until last, so we have. You have to understand it's something different totally. Last question, Yehudit. Yehudit said that I bring to the non-religious the hope, but would they have the ability to fight forward? In the election day, there's all kinds of election proportions are really high. You have to be determined to vote. The activities are happening. I see non-religious, religious, including Friday. I can tell you we have Zahut and identity party places that are all over the country, and they're very determined, non-religious with a lot of determination. And there's people that are religious that lost their hope. I'm not mad at them. It's not easy. But I depend on, I learned with Rabbi Goodman, God make sure that he lived for 120. You have to believe in the internal point of the Jew. Be very determined to get to, don't fight over the his freedom. Give him his freedom to the Jew. But if you understand this concept, he'll come up on his own. Without this belief, Israelis. Thank you very much for everybody. Thank you very much to Moshe Feiglin for everything you said about sovereignty.